You're a person that is looking for a home, a true home. You have several options. You can try and save money to go and get a house that is within your range. You could go get some land and build your own, or you could just go and rent a place all for yourself. But as many will tell you, while renting might seem like a good idea, there are some drawbacks, both short-term and long-term, that might come back to haunt you if you're not careful. Thus, you might just want to go right to the buying of a home, so allow us to show you the 8 reasons why you should never rent. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Every situation is different. We want to start off by noting that while this video is about never renting, we know that for some, this is the only option available to you. Everyone has a different situation, and just as important, you might be in a situation where you honestly don't want or need a house, and thus you're renting something like a small apartment. Or you're renting a friend's house because you're good on terms with them and it's cheaper than any other alternatives. Now, while this video is about guiding you towards getting a home long term, do not think of this as an insult towards those who are renting. Renting does have advantages of their own, and some would say there is just as good a reason to never buy a house over just renting a home or an apartment. So play to the situation that you are in. But if you're curious as to why renting should be limited, then we'll happily explain that for you. Number 7, once you buy it, it's yours. One of the top reasons why buying your home is better is the satisfaction you get knowing the property is yours to begin with. You're free to choose what you make of it in whatever way you see fit, within certain reason of course, as various places have certain restrictions on certain plots of land, etc. Having the personal freedom to do what you want with your home gives you the breathing space to plan and transform it into your dream house, without having to worry about lease contracts, terms, extra fees, bond payments, and any other hidden costs that are associated with renting. You also never have to worry about rent increases or eviction notices. You can give your family better security knowing the home is yours. Renting costs increase every year, most times, and with that, the percentage of evictions also increase in big cities. Having a home to your name gives you full control and helps give you and your family peace of mind. And on that last part of having control, number 6, the variables in renting. Whether you're renting or buying a home, there are going to be some things that are outside of your control, including how your neighbors act, noise levels from other places, and so on. But with buying a house, those factors are more somewhat limited. Compared to renting, where you have no control over your next door neighbors, other tenants, and even your landlord, the peace and privacy that owning your home offers is beyond the price. What's more, if you want to get a house, say in the country, and away from all the noise and other people, you're going to have a much more peaceful coexistence. Versus when you go and get an apartment and you have to hope that your neighbors on your floor or the ones above you or below you are nice, respectful, quiet, and so on. Or that your landlord is someone willing to do things like fixes, help you if your apartment mates get out of hand, and so on. Again, there are always things that are out of your control when getting a place, but there are less risks when it's buying over renting. Number 5, investing. When you buy a home with a 15 or 30-year mortgage, you're doing more than just making monthly payments. You're building equity in your property and making a long-term investment that hopefully will pay dividends down the road. And while renting can have financial advantages in the short term, building long-term wealth through buying is one of the key advantages of home ownership. Think of it like this. When you're renting, you're most times in a state of flux in terms of job, relationship status, or something else. When you truly buy a home, you're trying to lay down roots, and thus over time you're building up your tree in order to make it nicer and more enjoyable. But more than likely, one day down the road, you'll go and get to a spot where you just want to plant yourself somewhere else. Because of all the work you put into your home, you can sell it for a higher amount than what you bought it for, more than likely. And when you do that, you get yourself into a position to make money to take your new home and location. All because you spent time to invest and build it up. Number 4, saving now versus spending later. If you're thinking about buying your home, saving for the down payment is crucial. This actually helps motivate you to get your finances in order. You need the right discipline to create a budget and stick to it so you can save the money that you need. Homeowners have been known to be more financially stable because it takes the right discipline to be able to save the amount needed as down payment for their home. A survey shows that homeowners have better money saving habits. 25% of them pay more than they're required on their mortgage, and 44% pay their bills and save money as well. Having your own property allows you to shift your focus from saving for next month's rent to saving for your future, whether it's for your child's college, your retirement, or other long-term goals. And for those who are renting right now, by having that house goal in mind now, you can start planning for how to save up for that down payment so you can get out of that apartment when possible. Number 3, privacy. If you rent in an apartment building or a condo, there's a chance you share walls, ceilings, or floors with noisy neighbors. Or maybe you want to be noisy, but you have to keep the volume down so as not to disturb your neighbors. Either way, home ownership is a preferable option if you want to turn up your music, enjoy some quiet time, or if you value your living space as a private sanctuary. Plus, if we're being honest here, we all know that some of the apartments out there weren't meant to be nice quality, but rather to make money for those who own it. As such, the walls can be pretty thin, and so if your neighbors are making noise, you're going to hear all of it, no problem. Speaking of which, number 2, quality of space. There are several differences between apartments and homes as we've shown, but one of the biggest ones is quality of the space. Because while both sides of the equation have you looking at what's available, more times than not, the quality of the home is better than the quality of the apartment for various reasons. There's always going to be someone who will get a low rent apartment because they need it, but not everyone will buy a low cost house because it doesn't suit their needs. If you see certain houses on the market, you can pass on them if you don't like them. But with apartments, if you pass on them, you take a risk of it being gone before you find a better one, and that'll put more stress on you. So by focusing on finding the right house and the right quality of house, you'll be building yourself up to not just a less stressful place to call home, but a place that you can now truly call your own and not have to worry about what someone else didn't tell you about the place. Number 1, making it your own. Finally, and arguably most importantly, when it comes to renting versus house buying, you have to look at what you can actually do to your space. When you rent an apartment, you can obviously put in your furnishings and such, but when it comes to actually customizing the place, you have to be careful because you have to leave it like you got it, and when you leave, and if you don't, it's going to cost you extra money. Versus the fact that once you have the house, it's yours, 100%. You can remodel it, add on to it, within reason of course, and decorate it however you want. That is a freedom that isn't just to be appreciated, but enjoyed. Sure, with the right apartment you can do that as well, but it's not going to have the same feeling. So why only do a temporary thing by having an apartment that is kind of yours versus having a home that is yours? Exactly. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the reasons you shouldn't go and rent a place or house for yourself and instead go right to owning a home? Do you agree with some of the reasonings behind this choice? Do you feel that there is more going on with a choice like this than the advice suggests? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time on the channel.